part in this race. So the lineup will be Heinen, Tim Mikametz, Niklas Krens, Julia Ponkratz. Then we'll have Maximilian Krupper. Looks like Lukas Thompson will not be taking any part in the race. Then Henson rounding out the top 6 positions. And then we have Vajinak, Horstmann, Hartmann, Trusheim, Bock, Tham, Petropoulos, Saar, Heid, Müller, Lieder, and Max Bosse is a non-starter. So already we're down to what is going to be 17 competitors. But let's just see what happens. They go into the tram lines for one final time in 2019. We go lights out. They're at full racing speed, and it's nearly 3 abreast around at the bottom part of the top 10, heading into turn 1 for the first time. So Jan Einen now starting to try and get a breakaway initially from Tim Mikametz and Niklas Krens, who are hot on the back bumpers of the back bumper of the 312. And they've just gone past the forlorn cart of Lukas Thompson in 332, who had a mechanical issue even just before we got the formation and the rolling start underway, as Niklas Krens really now starting to initially hustle around the back bumper of Tim Mikametz. Both running on the same chassis, look to be in the same team as well. So, one rule of racing is don't take out your teammate, and it is side by side between the pair of them, heading through into turn 2. And it's very, very wide from Niklas Krens, who was on the outside, as Tim Mikametz was back up the inside of the position, as we've got a spinner at the back end of the field at turn 2. Didn't really catch who that was. I'll find out momentarily, but someone was spinning 180 degrees pointing up towards what was turn 1 rather than pointing their way towards turn 3. Leaders now coming through, and at the minute Niklas Krens is no longer in 3rd place. He's now down in 4th position, as Jan Heinen now continues to lead Tim Mikametz, and then it's the 321 of Maximilian Krupper who takes 3rd position from the 341. Julia Ponkratz now in 5th place ahead of Linus Henson. Vajinak in the 329 in 7th place ahead of Lukas Hartmann, Lukas Horstmann, and Paul Trusheim rounding out the top 10. Fabian Bock, who had that nasty hit in the wall in the first race a bit earlier on today, is up now to P11 ahead of Maximilian Saar, with Vivian Michel Heid rounding out the top 13, with Maxim Lieder and Anna-Sophia Tham rounding out the top 15. As Niklas Krens looks to be back past Maximilian Krupper, as Julia Ponkratz now goes behind Linus Henson, who now takes 5th position. But Krupper trying to go up the inside of Krens once again into turn 2. But Krens very wise to that, gets the switchback, pulls alongside, as Ponkratz, I think, looked to be alongside, side by side with Linus Henson. It's getting very dicey towards turn 4. Oh my goodness me. Linus Henson gets past Niklas Krens, it looked like. So Krupper, Henson and Krens, with Ponkratz and Vajinak rounding out the top 7 positions. But the battle at the front is now clearly on, as Tim Mikametz wants to make amends for this morning, as he now is right on the back bumper, sort of darting and weaving behind Jan Heinen going into turn number 2. But Heinen has the line, whereas Tim Mikametz still keeps on the back bumper of the 312 and takes the lead through turn 4. Mikametz struck whilst the iron was hot, neatly took the position off of the 312, now takes the lead with just over 10 minutes and 20 seconds to go, plus an additional lap in this race. And he's trying to pull a gap, and the gap is probably about a couple of kart lengths. So at the moment, there have been some changes. So Linus Henson now gets past Maximilian Krupper for P3, as Jan Heinen still keeping in striking distance of the number 333 of Tim Mikametz, running on the, looks to be the Kart Republic chassis there, as there's one driver definitely losing an absolute handful of places right down the order. So no positional changes that I can tell of thus far, but we'll find out very shortly as we're about to complete lap number 6 of the National Senior division. As Linus Henson staying in third place, looking a bit lonely, as there has been a change because Maximilian Krupper has dropped all the way down to 12th position. So Krupper, unfortunately, has come a cropper on the last few corners, or the last couple of laps, down from what was originally P3 at some point. So now we have drivers definitely doing their level best as we got 8 minutes and 50 seconds to go on the clock here in the penultimate race of the season here at Kerpen. And at the moment, Tim Mika-Metz is about a car length ahead of Jan Heinen in the 312 as they cross the line to start lap number 8. The gap between them just exactly a quarter of a second. Linus Henson a little bit further adrift to the tune of about 3.7 seconds. But then you look back to Julia Ponkratz, Niklas Krenz, Lukas Hartmann. That is the roundup of the top 6. So those three are battling over 4th position, with Ponkratz definitely having the advantage. But Julia's going to have to watch out for the likes of Niklas Krenz, Lukas Hartmann. Also, just keep an eye on Fabian Bock, running in 7th place now ahead of Lukas Horsmann. And with Vagenac and also Saar rounding out the top 10 ahead of Paul Trussheim in 11th position. So Tim Mika-Metz now has a lead of 0.4 of a second over Jan Heinen. As they go through turn 2, now they sweep across the left-hand side to the left-hander at turn 3. As that was a bit of a difficult wide line there taken by Niklas Krenz. I think just probably overstepped the boundaries of adhesion and nearly let Lukas Hartmann get through there for what is 5th position on the road. That's going to allow Julia Ponkratz to start to get a bit of a breakaway as the 2 leaders come down into the Schumacher chicane, as we now will very shortly hit half-time on the timer of 14 minutes elapsing. So halfway through, halfway to go once more. So the running order, as it looks like Petropoulos in the 301, I think might have just called it a day a couple of laps ago on lap number 7. So at the minute, Tim Mika-Metz leads from Jan Heinen, Linus Henson, Julia Ponkratz, Niklas Krenz, Lukas Hartmann, Fabian Bock, Lukas Horsmann, Lukas Vagenac, Maximilian Saar, Maximilian Krupper, Paul Trussheim, Maxim Lieder, Vivian Michel Heid, Anna-Sophia Tham, with Nick Noel Müller rounding out the 16 that are still circulating. So Max Boss, unfortunately, was a non-starter. Lucas Thompson, we lost on just the formation lap. And Andrei Petropoulos in the 301 retired on lap number 7. So a few more battles waging on all the way up and down the field, as Niklas Krenz still has Lukas Hartmann for company, as Julia Ponkratz is closing and is to within 3.5 of a second of Linus Henson. So Henson under threat now for what is 3rd place, with just over 5.5 minutes remaining. So Ponkratz now has time on her side too. She takes a glance over the left shoulder to see where Niklas Krenz is, and he's about 8 to 10 kart lengths behind. So it gives Ponkratz the sign that is required to say, right, I've got a chance, I'm going to go for it. Linus Henson, watch out, as there's been a move up the inside by Maximilian Krupper, up the inside of Maximilian Saar, I believe, for 10th position. And here's the battle right down at the back end of the field. That is the 344 and the 323 of Vivian Michel Heid and Anna-Sophia Tham that are battling over 14th place on the road, and they are still giving us a great entertaining battle irrespective of where they are on the circuit thus far. As Tim Mika-Metz and Jan Heinen are getting a bit closer, probably a bit too close for comfort for Tim Mika-Metz. The gap was just over 7 tenths. It's been absolutely decimated to 0.231 of a second. And a little bit further down the order, Fabian Box dropped down to 8th behind Lukas Horstmann, who's now got 7th in the pocket. But there's still 4.5 minutes still to go, plus an additional lap. And there's a four-way scrabble a little bit further down the order behind Fabian Bock, which looks to be led by Maximilian Krupper, who is in front of Maximilian Saar, Paul Trussheim, Lukas Warzinak. As the two leaders, Tim Mika-Metz and Jan Heinen, come round to complete lap number 13 with about 4 minutes on the clock, plus an additional lap. And there has been another driver that's opted to pull it into the pits and call it a day. That unfortunately is the 302 of Nignol Müller, who is running in 16th position. Looks to have parked it in the pit lane as there's more battles going up and down the order. Paul Trussheim definitely in the wars and looks to have been overtaken by, I think, Maximilian Saar and also Warzinak. Well, Warzinak, I think, has just tried to go up the inside of him and has got past, so that means that Trussheim's outside of the top 10. So 3 minutes and 13 seconds. The leaders come across the line once again. They were over 2/10 of a second apart. It's just over 2/10 of a second, so the gap now has been slightly closed up by 31 thousandths of a second as there looks to be a move. That could be Ponkratz. It is up the inside of Linus Henson to take third through the exit of turn number 2. Great work by Julia Ponkratz on the 307, now up into P3, and now has to try and either do one or two things: break away from Linus Henson or defend right up until the checkered flag. But it's been great, consistent work from Julia Ponkratz to get herself up into P3 on that particular occasion. Now I'm just keeping an eye on the gap between second and third. Last time around it was 5.2 seconds. And now with Ponkratz it's now gone up to 5.6. But now Ponkratz has an opportunity to move forward. But that also depends on what Linus Henson does in the next 2 minutes, plus an additional lap, because now closing up on them is the 341 of Niklas Grens, and just behind them are the two Lukases, Lukas Hartmann and Lukas Horstmann. So it's going to be a battle of five-way scrap right up until the end between 3rd to 7th position, as there is the foreboding and formidable figure of Niklas Grens behind Linus Henson. And there is Maximilian Krupper as, oh, that's sideways. That's sideways for both the leaders. I don't believe this. If I was speechless now, I'm definitely speechless. There are carts going everywhere. Is there rain falling at turn 2? Is there rain falling at turn 2? Because everyone has gone off of the track. Well, the two leaders did. Ponkratz and Linus Henson were there. Has this changed what's been a dramatic finale for the senior national division? So we got just under 60 seconds plus an additional lap. Who is leading this race? It is Tim Mika-Metz, but how close is Julia Ponkratz? She goes off at the left-hand approach and goes grass tracking. Is there rain falling? I'm not too sure, but if turn 2 has started to cause a problem, has there been fluid leaks on the track? Is it rain or is it fluid? I'm not sure, but the drivers were going, there is slippery surface flags coming out as I thought it might be. And there is rain falling. The rain has caused havoc. So Julia Ponkratz could have actually had a chance even at the victory there if Tim Mika-Metz and both Jan Heinen were in the gravel off of turn 2. But she went dirt tracking off of the left-hand approach to the Schumacher chicane. And now the time has pretty much expired. That's it. 14 minutes are up. We're on the penultimate lap of the race. There are slippery surface flags all out on the circuit. The drivers are on slick tyres. It is now just about guiding it home. So Tim Mika Metz wrestling with the steering wheel, as is Jan Heinen. And then just behind is Niklas Grains, who's doing a Tokyo drift through the left-hand approach to the Schumacher chicane. Julia Bonkratz still in now in 6th position, as again someone else goes dirt tracking. This time it's Maximilian Krupper. So the last, I think they're probably all going to be relieved. Thank goodness we've got the last lap board out. But drama in what has been an interesting final race of the season, as drivers now just tippy-toeing around the circuit. It's not about a case of risking it. They just want to get home. They just want to get to the end of the race. And very shortly, I should see the triple three of Tim Mika Metz making his way down the back straightaway. And here comes a very, very gingerly throttle pushing Tim Mika Metz, who nearly ended up in the kitty litter off of the dirt, as did Jan Heinen, but he goes through the Schumacher chicane for what is the final time of the season for the National Senior Championship. He's going to take the checkered flag. I'm sure he's going to be relieved to see that. Niklas Grains, it's a 1-2 for the team with the 341. Jan Heinen having dramas at the end of it, as several drivers have got off the circuit on the final corner coming out of the Schumacher chicane. So Tim Mika Metz and Niklas Grains, that's a 1-2. Lukas Hartmann takes 3rd place. Jan Heinen all the way down the order. Jan Heinen is only just coming through the Schumacher chicane and has dropped all the way down. I think that is pretty much last after that excursion off of turn number 2. So Tim Mika Metz takes a dramatic season finale for the Senior Nationals the classification for the RMC Clubsport finale here in Kerpen by 3.963 seconds, as both he and also Jan Heinen went off at turn 2 on the last lap of the race. And the rain is now coming. I'm sure they're all going to be glad that they thought, right, I hope it's going to go well. So the finishing order is Tim Mika Metz, Niklas Grains, Lukas Hartmann, Linus Hensen, Julia Bonkratz, Maximilian Krupper, Lukas Hortmann, Fabian Bock recovering to 9th, Varjanak Trussheim, Maximilian Saar, Maxim Lieder, Vivian Michel Heid, Anna Sophia Tham, and Jan Heinen rounding out the 15 that finished, with Max Bossen on start, Nick Noel Müller finishing with 8 laps to go, Andrei Petropoulos after finishing on lap 7, with Lucas Thompson only making it as far as halfway through the formation lap. And that's it for Senior National for 2019. What an exciting finale we had here in Kerpen.